All right, so if you want to play along with me, check out this website, the Oscar eligible movies from 1985 that came out in 1985 for the 1986 Oscars. Which 5 movies would you pick as Best Picture nominees, and what would be your Best Picture winner? That's the exercise I've been going through, and I've been going through the 1980s so far, and here I come across a year I'm not really in love with that much, especially the ones that were the original Oscar winners or the Oscar nominees. We've got Out of Africa, The Color Purple by Steven Spielberg, Kiss of the Spider-Woman. I don't think many people have heard of that, nor have they heard of Prizzi's Honor, one of John Huston's late films, and then Witness, starring Harrison Ford by the Australian director Peter Weir. The Best Director nominees are basically the same, and that's just the way it's always is, except they usually take one out and put another one in. Here they put in Akira Kurosawa's late movie Ran, based on Shakespeare's King Lear play. But basically, most of these Best Directors were in the Best Picture category. Now, in my previous 1980s videos, I've upended the Oscars. I'm going to do that again. Out of Africa, no, it's not that great of a movie in my opinion. It's fine to watch. It's beautiful to look at in some places, but I think the story is a little bit lame. And I'm sure people will have a politically correct take on the movie nowadays, so that's getting out of here. By contrast, The Color Purple by Steven Spielberg, I think this is a pretty good movie overall. It's got a lot of sentimentality in it, and maybe too much so. I like the novel a lot better, so I would recommend the novel. I'm kicking this one out as well. In fact, let me give you my list of nominees. Here's what I came up with for this year. The movies I'm considering putting in my Best Picture nominee list and movies worth mentioning. There's a lot I could say about this, but I always put the not eligible in here, and we're starting to get, by this mid-1980s period, a lot of not eligible movies that could actually be in Best Picture contention. Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. It's the first big major feature by Miyazaki, the great Japanese animated master, and I'm sure he'll have many movies I'm going to consider later on in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s for Best Picture. As well, we have Edward Yang's Taipei Story and Tampopo, that weirdo food movie from Japan, the director Atami, and those weren't eligible. So my rules are I'd only go by the Academy eligible movies of the year, although I'm going to break that one day, I'm sure about it. Of the movies in my draft list, they're all very good in my opinion. The Scorsese movie After Hours, I've covered that on my channel. The worst mentioning list, I should say, the Coen brothers' first movie, Blood Simple. I'm not in love with it as much as everybody else is. Critics at the time and critics today love this movie as a noir. You might check it out. Witness, I kicked out as well. I think this movie is pretty good. It's watchable. It's a really fascinating movie in a lot of ways. I think it turns into a sort of humdrum romance in the middle, and for that reason I kick it out. Special mention here goes to Kiss of the Spider-Woman, which you saw on the Best Picture list above. I watched this movie. I thought it was actually really good, based on a play, actually a novel, I think, turned into a play, and then turned to this. And you can see it's like a single-room movie. It takes place in a jail. William Hurt role Julia. They play contrasts, an idealist and a realist, a gay man and a straight man, a bunch of other contrasts like that. And I think this is a really good movie overall. It has maybe has some flaws you might see in it, but I like both their performances. This movie is hard to find. I found the DVD copy. It was a low res quality. Criterion needs to get this out in the Criterion collection, so I'm going to advocate for that right here. Let's get on. Here's my nominee list. What would yours be? I'm not in love with this list. There's something weak about it, I feel like, but yeah, I do really like all these movies. Back to the Future, I like this movie a lot. I think it has perfect casting. The script is very, very well known as an exemplar 3-act structure script. Brazil by Terry Gilliam. I've covered it on this channel. I once upon a time didn't like it. Now I really, really like it. Mishima by Paul Schrader. A very strange choice for him, but it covers the Japanese writer Mishima in this really remarkably thought through biopic. It's one of the best biopics I've ever seen. Purple Rose of Cairo by Woody Allen, and Streetwise, which is a very, very good documentary. I love the voice, tone, texture of this movie. It is a very, very, very sad movie depicting young people, I'm talking 14-year-olds, homeless on the streets of Seattle. And I think this is a great movie to watch. It might change your life, quite honestly, if you watch it and think about it and seeing it as a real-world movie. So I strongly recommend it. That's partly why I'm putting it here in my Best Picture nominee list. Of these movies, it's the middle 3 that I'm going to pick from, and the winner is...
The winner is...
Oh, am I gonna do it? I'm gonna pick Mishima by Paul Schrader. Congratulations, you got your first Oscar, Paul. This is a heartbreaking one because I think Brazil deserves it, and Purple Rose of Cairo I think is a perfect movie. I probably should pick that. I watched it 15 times. I hear new lines in it every time. There is no bad line in this movie. It's a fantastic movie, about people watching movies. And I can't more strongly urge you to watch it. It's one of my favorite movies ever, The Purple Rose of Cairo. I don't know why I'm not picking it. Maybe it's the mood I'm in today. Lighthearted versus very heavy, but Mishima has a Citizen Kane-like vision for movies. It is an amazingly well-constructed movie about a writer's life. And Mishima, honestly, there's my problem with this movie, though. I don't know anything about Mishima. So historically, biographically, autobiographically, this movie may be trash about him or not very good. So my caveat is, if I learn more about Mishima himself as a man, as a writer, read his writings, I may end up not liking this movie anymore. And that was the case with Gandhi from a few years ago, like 1983, where I dissed that Best Picture for not being true to history to some extent. I hope Mishima is, and if it is, I'm going to keep it here. This is completely the opposite of what the Academy at this time was picking. Sentimental, beautifully shot, sentimental pictures. That's what they were picking as Best Picture winners, or they were tending to at this point in time, and I keep throwing those away. And here you have a dark, disturbing movie about a man on a mission, one of Paul Schrader's, great themes, the disturbed 20th century man who you can't figure out how to live in the modern context. Mishima, though, again, a life of a writer, and the imaginative life of a writer, and a man on a quest. But what quest is he on? Where's he going? This is a great movie in terms of sound. I think the score is excellent, and the sound effects are awesome. I mean, this is one of the great movies near Citizen Kane like craftsmanship and artisanship. I think this is Paul Schrader's masterpiece. For all those reasons, I'm picking Mishima. Unfortunately, above Brazil and The Purple Rose of Cairo, which again I desperately want to pick. Looking back at my choices, though, I have no doubt some of you would pick other things. If you want to break my list, break my rules, pick Miyazaki's Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. Pick Tampopo. A lot of people love that movie. And so Ran by Kurosawa, pick him to win in his late career masterpiece. So anyway, any of these could win. I'm not really picking one over others is kind of stupid, but it's a fun gimmick for me to reconsider the Oscars. And I think any of these other ones, I really basically upended the entire Best Picture nominee list. They're all gone from the original list, and I picked 5 new ones. So I think these 5 new ones have stood the test of time to some extent. What do you think of these choices? What would you choose? Let us know in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel for more great content. Have a great day. I want to dedicate this video to my late great friend John Huang. He was only a few months older than me. He inspired me to do this channel. He met with me many times. He told me cameras and mics and the YouTube platform, how to deal with the algorithms. He told me how to get on social media and write. John unfortunately passed away a few days before this video. He leaves behind a wife and children. My heart, I'm just devastated by losing him. I've got a picture of him on my desktop looking at me because he was the one who helped me start this channel and the reason why I'm making this video. So God bless the Huang family. Thank you, John. I'll see you in another life, brother.